Hey guys, welcome back to Crypto Scene Investigation, where we have a look at various crypto projects and ask ourselves, are they worth investing in? If this is your first time, or if you've been a long-time viewer, please consider liking and subscribing, because that would really help, and I'm really wanting to create an awesome community around finding the truth out behind projects. You're welcome to comment, and also let me know what you think. Maybe you think I'm wrong about what I'm saying, so then comment and then tell me why I'm wrong, and then show me the resource where you got it from. Maybe you think I'm right about this and you're like, man, like, this video is fantastic. Then you can also be like, yo, hey, let me tell you why I think that your video is awesome. Yeah, so anyway, be respectful. Yeah. And one other thing, a little disclaimer. This should not be considered as financial advice. It should only be considered for entertainment, inspirational, and educational purposes. Cool. So let's jump into it. Today we'll be looking at Skale Network. What is Skale? So a bit of an exciting chat happening to the right here. Scam. It's not scam. It's not scam. Doesn't move much. So that's our sort of coin market cap conversation. Anyway, so here's where the price has gone. So we went from 0.08, pumped up to 0.88, which would be a 10x, and then now we're chilling at around about 0.1579. So what is Scale? So there's quite a bit of information about exactly who they are. So let's have a look at what actually makes them unique. So Scale Network is geared towards improving both security and decentralization of Ethereum-based apps, or dApps. Token holders on Scale Network are incentivized and earn rewards by helping to improve the scalability and security of the platform by serving as validators. So yeah, so they sort of just talk about how slow and how, like, so with Ethereum, so I saw a video on it. So with Ethereum, you can have like heaps of nodes, but then if you have too many nodes, then it may actually end up decreasing the speed. But the way which these guys have done it is that these guys are planning to solve that by having a sort of like they sort of choose the nodes which can be used at certain times, and they get like selected into like a little pool or something, and then they sort of get like switched out. It's kind of complicated, but that's kind of like a basic understanding of it. Yeah, they do have a wonderful video of it, which actually I'll pause and I'll show you briefly. So anyway, this video is at 2 times speed. So essentially, you can build dApps, and this is the example of what it looks like for you know, like the normal like Ethereum and other sort of things. So they increase in security by adding nodes, but they don't really increase in speed. Yeah, and so the way which they're doing it is that they're looking to increase the capacity, speed, and security by doing that. So you know, building dApps, and then so they have this sort of switch out process for these various nodes, which I think is quite cool. And then so it's called random rotation incentive scaling, and then so they have containerization, virtualization, ABBA based consensus algorithms, BLS threshold cryptography. And then yeah, and then so they talk about high speed and, I mean, extraordinary efficiency, and they show some of the things which you can do with it. So, you know, IoT and dApps and things like that. Yeah. By the way, please comment to let me know if actually doing this video thing was helpful for you guys. Because I have only really done it in one other video, so I just want to know if it is actually genuinely helpful, or if it's not very helpful. So let's have a look at what BSC check tells us. So we have, doesn't really tell us much, to be honest. The information is a bit useless on that one, to be honest, even though it says risky, but yeah, I just feel like I didn't really read it correctly. So we got positives with Token Sniffer, so you know, you can buy and sell. No price similar token contracts. That's quite interesting. The reason why I say that's interesting is because most of the time I will see something about having similar token contracts with almost every sort of project which I sort of search on here, except for this one doesn't. So that's actually quite fascinating. Liquidity burn / locked. It looks like that's the only one which is kind of taking people back a little bit. Yes, not enough liquidity, which could allow for significant amounts to be removed. So rug pull, but so it says note this test only checks well-known lockers and will not accurately represent locked liquidity from custom locking / vesting contracts. Now, they do have a custom locked thing, I believe. So what we'll do is that we'll have a look into the holders. So as we can see, so they've only got about 45%, which is actually circulating. They have a max supply of 7 billion, and the total supply, which is the coins which have already been created minus any coins that have been burned, is currently 4.2 billion, and as we can see, the current circulating is 3.1 billion. And so the thing which I think is quite cool is the fact that a bunch of these wallets, like, we don't really have any huge wallet which kind of dominates like the cryptosphere with this one. So we've got, you know, the highest wallet is 7%. I mean, that's wonderful when it comes to the tokenomics. I mean, this is great, and because they have that sort of validator system, where, you know, like, as we sort of read on the main page where it says, so the token holders are incentivized to earn rewards and help improve the scalability and security by serving as validators. I think that really kind of helps us, and so we will actually be seeing some, so I think that the tokenomics are quite good. Let's have a look at some of the Reddit stats. So they currently have about 3,000 members, and so in terms of comments and things, we should be able to see these sort of stats here. So subscribers went all the way from about 44 all the way up to about 3,000 within about 6 months. Was that 6 months? Yeah. No, I take that back. That's 1 year. It's September 2020. Yeah. So growth, it hasn't been exponential, but it's been simmering maybe. I feel like maybe this is like probably around this point is when they probably had like an actual proper launch. Where you will have a brief look at some of their roadmap information. So posts per day, so pretty average comments per day. So, you know, like, it's pretty average. It's I don't want to say downtrending, but it's mulling. I think that's an appropriate word to be using. So on their Twitter, they have 81,000 followers, and in the last 30 days they've had 800 new followers. So it doesn't really seem that bad to me, to be honest. It doesn't really feel like threatening or anything, or it doesn't seem like to be putting me off, to be honest. It seems kind of normal / standard, and I mean, for something which, you know, doesn't really have too many comments, like 8 comments. So, okay, so that's actually probably why I couldn't find them. So, cool. No, that's actually really good to know. Give me one moment. So sweet. So that's cool. So you'll see why I actually had to pause for a moment. So Stan / Constantine. So Scale. So these are some of the Google trends over the last 30 days. So we did have a peak on January 4th, and has been downtrending a bit since then. Over the last 12 months. So as I say, this I think would have been probably part of their release during that sort of time. So it still has been downtrending in that little part there. And over the last 90 days, we've had the most searches being in November and a little bit more in early November. So yeah, so in terms of it being searched socially, it doesn't seem to have had that much. Poland being number 1. Yeah, but I don't think that it is. I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. I feel like maybe scale might be a Polish word. Yeah, so maybe that's why it's been searched, or I'm not entirely sure. So this is a little brief overview. So these are some early Scale Validator partners. I haven't verified these partners, so if you guys wanted to do that, you're very welcome to. Yeah, so I do recognize this name, Anchor, possibly Chainflow. The rest of the names, I don't really feel like I recognize them. But it looks like they've got like a decent amount. I think Staked, I might recognize that one, and maybe Figment. And NGC Ventures, yeah. So I mean, they don't have like a low amount of people who've been supporting it. Arrington XRP Capital, know that one. I've seen that in quite a few of the projects which I'm interested in. Spartan, seen them. And maybe Wave and Winklevoss. So yeah, so they aren't just like a bunch of randies who don't have any supporters. So that's good. So this is a part of their roadmap. So they've had a bunch of things which have already launched. I won't be reading through all of these just because of time constraints, but you can have a look on their. So I had to Google this myself because I couldn't find an actual link on their website to it. So just Google Scale roadmap is what I did to actually find this jazz. And then so plan/in progress, so chain onboarding, and there's a few other sort of things, dynamic oracle, which sounds pretty nifty. And then so under consideration is improving reward staking and a few other things. So yeah, so that's a part of their roadmap. One thing which sort of miffs me a bit about their roadmap is the fact that they don't have dates. And I believe I did have, I must have closed that link. I did have a link which actually showed a part of their roadmap showing like Q1 of 2021, Q2, Q3, Q4, but then now we don't really see like an exact sort of thing of this upcoming year, which is a bit of a bummer really. So looking through their white paper, it's mega complex. They use like a whole bunch of like whack terminologies. And then so this is their tokenomics thing, but we'll have a look at a better one. So this is their token distribution, and this is based on the max supply. So their tokenomics have been some of the best tokenomics that I have seen for a project. Yeah, so they are some of the best which I have seen, and I also have seen. Actually, we'll go into that soon. So core team pool is 4%. Protocol development fund is 7.7%. Scale Foundation 10%. Broader founding team. Validator rewards delegator allocation. So that's for early supporters and plus public allocation. So what's cool is that they actually have a bunch of lock periods. So for the early supporters, so for round 1, round 2, round 3. So you have 36 months, 15 months, and then 15 months. And then so this sort of shows the actual unlock schedule. I'll zoom in just a bit more so you can probably have a better look. So this shows year 0, and then so that would have been the TGE, or the initial, I guess, token release, you could call that. And then, so as you can see, by year 5, because I believe that the token's only been around, I think, since 2020, possibly, or maybe even 2021. Because yeah, on CoinMarketCap, although it does show from the, is that, oh okay, so that's February 2021. So yeah, and so this was what I was wanting to actually show before. So we have Scale product roadmap. So as you can see, so this shows when some of these things would have been released, which is 2021, which is cool. So it doesn't say exactly when the full mainnet was launched, as far as I can see, but that was probably, yeah, I don't exactly have a sort of date/time for that. Yeah, and then so by year 5, this is sort of what it will look like. So the major gray is early supporters, and then so this kind of aqua-y color is the validators rewards, and then this sort of next one up above that looks to be the protocol development fund. Sorry, no, that's this one there. This one above here is, I think that's the ecosystem fund. No, but anyway, if you want, you can actually pause the video just to have a look and see if you can possibly zoom into that. Yeah, so you have public allocation as that sort of top green line. Yeah, so I think in terms of all of this sort of jazz, so I think that as I say, these tokenomics are some of the best tokenomics that I have ever seen. Yeah, and then so it doesn't look like anybody can essentially kind of rug pull this sort of project, which I think is absolutely wonderful. So this is some of their team. So you have Stan, and so I try to search Stan on LinkedIn, but he's under Constantin. And then so you have Jake. So I have actually seen both these guys in interviews, so we do have a doxed enough team. And so I did decide to look up some of the developers and some of the VPs, so we can have a look at some of their backgrounds now. So co-founder, founder. So that's kind of interesting. I believe that Jack himself was actually, so he mentioned that he spent about I think it was 15 years in the what is it called, something Valley. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. So he spent time sort of going through a bunch of tech startups. Yeah, and so Scale Labs, VP Global Solutions Engineering. So it looks like she's been doing a bunch of engineering things prior to that, which is awesome. Expert Solutions, so she's worked for Oracle. This is Chadwick, so head of product Inventi, so startup head of strategy, Scale Labs. I don't really recognize these, but you guys might recognize them. Yeah, so mentor, blockchain for social impact. Okay. Scale Labs, so software engineer intern. Yeah, so I think in terms of some of these guys' experiences, so I believe that part of the team is actually spread between San Francisco and Russia, from what I saw. I mean, if it is not Russia, please excuse me, because, yeah. Yeah, so I believe that they're spread between those two locations. So this fellow was a strategic advisor for Actana and wait, that's kind of weird. And then so working for Alchemist Accelerator and Motorola, which is quite interesting. So yeah, so the team seems to have some decent amount of experience. Yeah. So anyway, I think that is probably the majority of the information on this project, which I'm going to do. So my thoughts about the project. I personally think that these guys are trying to do something really well. I think maybe there might be already some other dudes who are within the higher level of market cap, because if we have a look at the market cap, so they're about 502 million, and they are ranked 136. It does sort of feel like maybe other things like, especially things like Polygon slash Matic, I feel like they may already be doing something almost sort of just as good as Scale. So I think in terms of maybe future with these guys, I am a bit annoyed with their roadmap that we don't exactly see some upcoming things, because it would be nice, because then that would sort of help us want to actually choose to whether or not invest in it. I think long term, I think that this price is likely to go up, because that's very low. So just because the price is low, that doesn't mean that it's going to go up. But we'll have a look at the RSI to see if we can see maybe anything which stands out to us. I mean, we're currently at about 33 RSI, which, yeah, I think personally for me, we'll probably be looking at maybe something going a little bit higher than that. Because yeah, I mean, it looks like this sort of dropped through whatever support they originally had. Yeah, this literally looks like an all-time low. So if you do want to invest in this, now is probably a great time to invest, if you did want to. So yeah, anyway, that's that is me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting some nice things. But also, I got a Patreon. Please consider joining it. It would be very helpful, because yeah, I want to try to make this community good, and yep, have a bunch of peeps who, you know, are interested in finding the truth behind projects. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Fairly well.